Bienvenidos to Season 3 of Humans in Accounting podcast. In a world full of AI, automation, and endless workflows, we pause for a moment to focus on the real humans behind the numbers. Founders, leaders, humans share their journey, what drives them, and the moments that shape their path. Because behind every balance sheet, there's always a story worth telling. Humans in Accounting is brought to you by South Offices. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Humans in Accounting, where leaders and humans and people share their stories behind their spreadsheets. As you know, I'm Alex Roman, and this podcast is brought to you by South Offices, connecting accounting talent across borders. Today, I'm super happy just to have Seth Kamens, owner at Kamens Associates. Seth, super happy just to have you here in Humans in Accounting. Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing well, Alex. Thanks so much for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you for joining. The truth is, we never met physically. I told you yesterday or this week. I don't know when we had our first call. I'm usually traveling and going to events, and the truth is that we just had one or two calls prior to recording this podcast episode. I don't know. We had a lot of fun, and
We did. It was a fun conversation. You told me how you've been to Oklahoma, but you've never been to New York, Philadelphia, or Washington, D.C., which is not the typical for people visiting.
Yes. Have you ever been to Oklahoma City?
I have never been to Oklahoma City. Hopefully I'll get there someday for either a basketball game or a football game.
But you know what? It was a good city. I remember. It's true. I told you that. I know like over 25 different states, never been to New York, but well, hopefully, I don't know if this year, if not the following year for sure, I'll go to New York. Seth, well, everyone, as you know, this episode, we're going to be releasing this on the next Wednesday. We're recording this on the 18th. And yeah, during the World Cup, this is how I support my Argentina. So I'm going to keep on using for the following episodes my Messi shirt. Seth,
I don't have a Christian Pulisic jersey, but we're playing. I don't have a Christian Pulisic jersey or a Weston McKennie jersey, but we're playing Australia tomorrow. So we had a great first game against the team I think that beat you guys in qualifying. So
yeah, Paraguay. I saw that one, and I don't know. It seems that now you have a strong team. You have a strong.
We have a really good coach. He's from your neck of the woods.
Yes.
Argentino is the Tottenham coach, and we finally have a really high-end coach, and we have some nice players. Usually it's our goalie is really good and everything else is questionable. This year we're pretty happy with our talent. We're questioning our goalie, to be honest. But hopefully we hold up and have a nice run.
Yeah, that definitely the USA in the last, I don't know, 10 years, 20 years, you guys grown now
we've become relevant. We're not in an Argentina or a Brazil or France or England, but it should be a good cup for us. So we're optimistic.
Yes, absolutely. I remember, like 20 years ago, if I watched a match between Mexico and the US, Mexico was always winning those matches again, like 20 years ago, and now in the last 20 years, that has changed.
There was a World Cup game. Those two teams, they despise each other, truly despise each other. And there was a World Cup game in 2002 where the U.S. beat Mexico 2-0. And 24 years later, we still hear 2-0. And it is a true hatred. Is the best way to put it. Just like I'm sure it is with you in Brazil.
Exactly. Yeah. But you know what? Now that you mentioned that, there's always been this rivalry between Argentina and Brazil specifically. But I don't know. And the last, again, many years, and I think that Messi has a lot to do, because we were talking before recording this episode. Messi is a guy that obviously we all Argentinians we love him, but I think that it's not only Argentinians. Like people in general from other countries. It's someone that it's
He's
hard for you to hate, and
he's so
I think
likable.
that he made like Argentina and Brazil like came closer. Like if you talk with someone from Brazil, maybe if Argentina is in a final, I heard that, hey, I really wanted that Argentina wins this World Cup for the last one, and that was something impossible. Like if you ask a Brazilian,
Probably
you're
unless you're a big Real Madrid fan,
exactly
and
yeah.
then probably you do have that hatred for Messi. But short of that, he comes off. We were talking. He comes off incredibly likable. He's not built like Cristiano Ronaldo, where you just look at him, he just exudes whatever that is. He exudes it, and that look, he had a hat trick in the first game. He scored what 2 goals in the final against France 4 years ago. He's 38 years old and still probably a top 25, 30 player in the world. And he was a top two player in the world for 10, 15-year run. I mean, there's
Yeah.
not too many people who can say that in any
Yeah,
sport.
and on top of everything, last thing I'll say about Messi, he's like super humble. Like if you ask him or if when someone interviews him, he goes like, "Oh no, I don't really care if I'm the best one or if I'm the second best one, as long as my team is doing good and my family is okay." So I think that makes him a great human that many people can yeah, admire that from him. But well, anyways, this is humans in accounting,
We're
and
going
I
from
really
soccer to or football to accounting. Perfect transition.
absolutely, absolutely, and this is something that it's happening now, and so it's also good that we can talk about this. We When I started this podcast, I wanted just to talk about more about the human part. So this is for me like really important. I want to know like yeah, how business owners they started their firms, but what are they doing on their personal life? So I know that you have you're the owner at Kamens and Associates for a few years now. I really want to know how you started. How were your first steps? Yeah,
It was
tell
hard.
me a little bit about your background.
Okay, so this was not plan A or plan B of what I expected to do with my career. I went to college and grad school in the Washington, D.C. area, came back. I'm from North Jersey originally. And I worked at a variety of big companies Deloitte, J.H. Cohen, Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch. And was never happy at any of these places, to be perfectly honest. Never felt a progression, never felt I was being supported in trying to build my career. And my father is a retired attorney where he worked for himself and had similar frustrations in trying to build a career within firm life, corporate life, and went on his own and did very nicely. So, about 15, 16 years ago, when I passed the CPA, I made a determination that it- I was never going to progress. And I spoke with people who I knew who did very well at big corporate jobs. My personality wasn't suited for that. So I wasn't married. I didn't have kids. I could afford to take a couple years and try and build it and see what would happen. And so I started, give or take 2010, 2011. I sent personalized emails to every lit person on LinkedIn and Facebook. People, it must have been a couple, 1,000, 1,500 people saying I was starting this firm. And that was the beginning. And I started with 15, 20, 25 clients and progressively built and hustled and went to networking meetings and met all these people and eventually was able to build out a small practice. I had someone who I grew up with in northern New Jersey. I started partnering with. We bought a small firm in 20, started working together part-time. He was a senior manager at a firm. He had his own clients and I was sending him some work. And eventually we were able to build a big enough practice where he could jump over and became a partner with me full time. And then once that happened, he's much more technical. I'm much more of what's called a generalist. And we were able to build the practice really much quicker and much larger than we ever anticipated. So that was 9 years ago. Now we're 15 years into Kamens and Associates. 9 years is a full-time partnership. And there's 25 of us. We have clients in probably every state in the country, maybe 10, 15 countries around the world. We deal with clients that are worth billions. We deal with clients that are worth zero. And we built a really nice practice, give or take about somewhere between around 2,500, 2,000 to 2,500 clients worldwide.
Whoa, that's great. One question I have. You said that you have some experience, or that you worked in a big four, and that were a few things that you didn't like personally. Like, what are the things that you are not doing that usually big fours are doing from a culture perspective?
Well, it's an easier lifestyle. There's not a competition. The big issue I when I was at Deloitte, I was caught between two senior managers who were trying to move up to partner.
Yes,
And the way they did that was making other people not look as good.
right,
There's that's not here. We're a small firm. We have some clients who aren't small, but we're a small firm as a whole. People who come here are not if you are good enough, you move up. There's no one keeping you down. Managers that job is to make staff better. My job is to work with the managers to make them better. That's how this works. If there's issues, we deal with issues head on, whether it's client issues, whether it's staffing issues, whether last year, for example, the admins came to us and said, look, we need better back office people. Stuff's getting backed up. You tell us the issue, we deal with it. That's not how corporate works.
right.
There's too much red tape. There's too many steps you have to go back. Everyone wants to, pardon my French, cover their you know what. We don't have that problem. So whenever there's issues, whether it's or prospects, if it's a prospect, you're dealing typically with a manager or above. If it's a big prospect, you're dealing with the partners. And we are your point of contact. If there's a problem, you deal with us. We don't push it to anybody else. And that is something that we didn't see. I didn't see at Deloitte. I didn't see at JH Cohen.
Yes, yes. Something that we were talking. What was it, this week or last week, that I really liked how you handle, like, if there's a big prospect that you're talking directly with them. Do you have how's the sales process? How do you know if they're actually a good fit? If you can help them, how does that work?
Well, we
The
talk about so if you're looking in our business, nobody really wants to jump accountants. Nobody wants other people having access to their businesses, their personal, any of that. So if you're looking to leave for a reason. So my job, the way I look at my job is to make you as comfortable as possible. Whether it's a personal business, whatever it is. And it's more than just doing doing a tax return. That's where we start. But that's not really where we end up going with it. It's okay, how can I help? Where is it? How do I help you? Is it is it okay you have a business and you have the wrong kind of entity or the wrong retirement plan, or have you talked to your accountants about this? If there's a problem, you got fired from a job, what are you looking? Can I connect you with someone? Let me connect, let me help. And this is what I try and do, because when I started this firm, nobody did it. And to be honest, it would have made my life a hell of a lot easier if they did. So when we have these conversations, inevitably we obviously start off with, okay, why are you looking to change accounts? Why do you need an accountant? But inevitably it kind of goes in other directions. And our job is to provide the best service we can. And sometimes it's really just strictly under tax or under financial statements or whatever it is. And sometimes it's more than that. Sometimes we look at and you said, look, your accountant has put you in a really bad position. This is what we need to do. And I don't BS anybody. I think I come off as genuine. And either if you believe where I'm coming from, there's no sales. I'm not selling you. I'm telling you this is what I see. If you would like some help with this, we can probably help you.
right.
And we go from there. If it's a sell, it's the softest sell known to man. There's no there. I make it really clear. We don't need. There's no. The firm is builds organically. If we're the right people for you, excellent. If not, I can refer you people who can be. And I
Yeah,
try to make everyone as comfortable as possible because nobody
that
wants to deal. Most people see us as a cost center and as a negative connotation. My job is to try and reverse that.
yes, absolutely. Something that it's super, super important. I think it's across industries, but obviously in accounting, it's even more important from my perspective is that you got to feel comfortable with the with your accountant. You got to be feel all right. Is this someone that I'll be talking about that I want to be talking about in the future? Is this some or not really? And
It's
for
like
for
any other
those reasons,
it's any other service provider. Assume that the return, if you go to 5 accountants, 3 of them are going to do it right. 2 of them are not, and they did. Of those 3, who's going to offer you ideas? Who are you most comfortable calling to discuss problems? If those two questions are answered by one firm, that's who you should go with.
right?
And that's what I try and purvey to any prospect coming in.
Yeah, perfect. And do you usually work with small business? Do you work with a specific industry?
We're we're
How?
we're sector neutral. We're sector neutral. So for all intents and purposes, no, but I don't really believe most firms only do one sector. I just don't. I think I don't think it's reasonable. Our biggest clients are worth in the 9 figures. Our smallest clients are worth 0. And the question on the companies that are biggest, the advice we can give is smaller a lot of
Mhm.
times because they've already had this advice as they've grown. And there's certain things that we can do and can't do. On smaller firms, it's easier because smaller businesses, they need more help. How do I grow to get to X? How do I grow to get to Y? And we can help with that. Sometimes it's connecting people with potential clients contingent on what the sector is. Sometimes it's okay, I can't help you grow, but can I help you save on the other side? Accounting is not just here are your numbers, here's a tax return. That's the lowest bar possible.
Right, right. And this in this 15 years that you've been in business, if I ask you for I don't know a milestone, something that when you started, maybe you never thought you would got there. What's the first thing that comes to mind?
There are 2. The
Mhm.
first year when Mark, my partner and I were running this, and we bought we had bought a very, very small practice. We said, okay, between X and Y, we'll we'll make Z. And I remember I was meeting with my biggest client at that point, and he calls me. It was like it was around Christmas, and I was in New York City in Battery Park. And he goes, sit down. And I said, what's up? And we assumed we were going to be we were going to do X, and we did X times like 50% above what we expected. And at that point, we kind of both knew we were going to make it. And then about 3 years ago, I got a call from a client who called me and pretty much said, I need your help. Are you sitting? I was picking my daughter up from camp. So I said, sure, what's up? I got an offer for $1.1 billion on my firm, on my company, and I don't know what to do. And I remember hanging up and burst out laughing. And I called my father and I said, did you ever think you'd see the day where I had a client who said they just got $1 billion offer on a company? I don't know how to, my answer is take the damn money and run. But
Right.
that wasn't what he was looking for. But you come across, there's a few things, there are these holy bleep moments you have, both personally and professionally. And for a guy who started with 15 clients, this is where we are. And these things have happened. And we're now a firm where people come to with not just basic, but incredibly sophisticated questions and work. And they value our advice is humbling and amazing it's mind boggling to me.
It's incredible that I asked you for what's the first milestone that you think from these 15 years in business? You said, well, the first one after a year, but the second milestone for you, it's actually a client that it's reaching out to you, telling you that they received an offer for $1 billion. That it's more about your client. Still, that's
It's
something
always
that for
about
you
it's
it's
always about the clients.
yes,
Everything is
yes.
about the clients because without the clients, what do we have? And everything else, this it's all gravy for us for me at this point. We have succeeded in building a firm. My partner, myself, the staff, the people who've been here throughout the years. And this has gone well beyond what our expectation ever was. So the idea that this has occurred is wonderful. And I have personal milestones, marriage, kids, home. My tennis game has gotten better at it by age 50. I mean, which I didn't anticipate. But we've come in 9 years as a full time with my partner, and where we expect the next 10 to 12 years to go and hope it does is well beyond anything I ever anticipated.
That's great. That's great to hear. Now that you mentioned tennis, something that I didn't ask you, but I know because you told me, and I'm curious. You at some point you hosted a podcast
I still do.
also
I'm hosting a sports podcast in an hour.
in an hour. All
Yeah.
right.
Well, my when so without going into grand detail, while I was studying for the CPA, I caught something called the H1N1 virus, and I was sick for a year. And I helped someone. I had to move back with my parents, which at age 33 was not the most fun thing in the world. And while I was home, because I was too sick to do anything, I helped somebody start a sports website. I had been on a couple shows previously, and in return, I got a podcast and I started hosting it with one of my closest friends. And we've been now hosting it for 14 years. It started with we were both single. We talked about dating. We talked about living in New York City. I got married. It was mostly sports, but it was fun. It was two guys hanging out. You know, 15 years later, it's okay. I'm now married and kids. He's hosted the show from 5 different continents. I typically host it from Livingston, New Jersey, or from my house. Then, excuse me. And it's still you need something. You need an escape. That the show has been my escape.
Yes.
No matter what we do, you always need something that is outside of your professional purvey and not part of your family life. And so we're going to host a show. My buddy is a diehard Knicks fan,
Mhm.
so he is as happy as can possibly be because they just had the parade for the championship today. So I'm just going to let him talk and he lives in Atlanta. He doesn't go to his teams have not won very much over the years. I've done much better, so I'm going to let him enjoy.
Well, what's the name? What's the name of the podcast? I want to do a
It's called Seth. It's called Seth and Sean.
Seth,
It's very very unique, but
Seth and
it's
John.
a
So
fun.
well,
It's
then just give us the link, and there
Yeah, I'll
are
send you the
many
link to it.
humans in accounting that for all of us, sports are an important part of how we, sometimes you need just to be grounded and not think about work, and sports is usually something that humans so I'm genuine interested. And if at some point I'm definitely, for me, sports, it's something important in life. Now I do have this tennis elbow, is it how you call it?
We talked about it. I've had it before.
Right. And it's not going away. But yeah, I'll be one new subscriber, and we can tell people in the future watching this and humans in accounting, if you want to see Seth hosting Seth and John this sports podcast, you can go ahead and follow them. Sports, it's an important thing for me, but also it's eating nice, eating good food. And I'm not gonna not ask you this question that I've been asking to every single guest. And the question is the following one: Seth, what's your favorite food?
Paella,
What's that?
paella,
I ate? What is that?
paella. You've never?
No,
It's
should
Paella. It's Portuguese.
the what you get in Spain, right?
Yeah. It's
Oh, okay.
yeah, all the seafood and rice combined in, and
Yes, yes, and that's how you say it,
that's that's
because
that's the New Jersey pronunciation of it is paella.
right.
So there's a phenomenal area about 40 minutes from where I live. It's called the Ironbound District in Newark, New Jersey, which is all Portuguese, and it's fantastic. Look, I love
That
sushi, I love veal parmesan, but I love paella,
No, no, no.
lobster and
Paella,
shrimp.
then it is. Here, Argentinians and Uruguayans, we pronounce the double L or the Y, um, with this different pronunciation. For instance, in Argentina, you will say paella, but
Paella, sh.
pa, paella. That's how you would say it. Instead of paella, that maybe in the rest of Latin America they will say paella.
And also maybe
Uh,
my horrendous New Jersey accent, to be perfectly
no,
fair.
no, 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 no. It's good. I'm happy. You know what? I might have, I don't know, 50, over 50 guests who voted different type of food. And now paella is the first one. So
There
at least it's gonna have one vote.
you
Thank you
go.
for answering that.
Sure.
Seth, let me ask you this question. Well, you've been for over 15 years running your firm. What's what's a good piece of advice that maybe someone could have given you down the road? What's a good advice that maybe you can give someone who now is watching this in the future and is thinking of opening their own firm? What's Answer me those two questions. One, what's a good piece of advice that maybe someone could have given you? And then what's a good advice that you can give someone starting a firm now?
The best advice, there's an adage, nobody wants to hear the labor pains, they just want to see the baby. Because of what we do, nobody wants to hear the details of how this works. They just want an overview. And I kind of start with that. And then if they want more details, we go in. I also really like the idea of number one, you don't have to be the smartest person in the room. Listen to don't speak as much, listen. Our job is to hear things and to really listen to what clients are saying, because sometimes you don't know the specificity. They don't know exactly what they're saying, and if people want to be heard is the best way to put it. And when you listen and not try and overstep, and not nobody needs you never need to be the smartest guy. Just sit back, listen to what the clients need, listen to what the clients want. If you make a mistake, concede it. This is not an industry to BS your way through. And we do typically that's what I've done is I try and be as genuine as I can. I try not to overstate things. This is what it is. Let's see what we can do, but more just listen and go out and meet people. Go out and network. If you want to build a firm, go out and meet people. For years, I went to networking events, and because there's such a scarcity of A, people that do what we do, and B, even a larger scarcity of people who do what I do, who will go to these events. There's
Right.
always going to be people there who need your services. And
Yeah.
I always go back to my first big client I got. He came to me with four questions. I was working in Chelsea in New York City at a share space, like a WeWork. And this guy came over to me and said, I heard you're a CPA. I have four questions for you. And he asked me the questions, and I thought about it, and I said, I can answer two now. One I need an hour, one I need overnight. I can't remember. It's just beyond my scope to know. And he looked at me and he goes, you're hired. And I said, great, for what? And he was running a business. And I said, why am I hired? We've talked for 30 seconds. He said, if this is how you respond to my questions, this is what I want from my accountant. And 10 years later, 11 years later, he's probably one of my three richest clients and probably one of my 10 biggest clients. And to give you an idea of how the relationship has transitioned, I had my 50th birthday 3 weeks ago. He flew in from Abu Dhabi for it. So it's that progression. It becomes more than just a vendor relationship. It becomes a relationship. And that's what you need to develop with clients, not to that degree, to make them feel comfortable and to make them trust you. Don't overstate.
Yeah.
And I went off topic a little bit, but the idea is that.
No, 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 no. That's good advice. Again, listening, super important. Again, that's something that I tell my team. Like, we don't need just to be the smartest one in the room, and probably there are many topics that we are not. I mean, that we don't know, and there's someone else who has a better answer. So I love that story. Seth, I'm pretty sure that someone is watching this in the future. Maybe Argentina is already champion by by the second time. Who knows?
Beating the
But
US in the
maybe
finals,
they're
I'm sure,
watching
right?
this and they're saying to themselves, "Hey, I just
Alex,
need
you
just
froze.
to connect with a Seth, and I think I lost
Hello?
internet. Really, or not, or yes." Trying to reconnect. And am I back? Are you back? Are we still here? Can you
So,
hear me, Seth?
yeah, you froze for about 15 seconds.
Perfect.
Last 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 I heard was Argentina was winning the World Cup.
Perfect. So yeah, I was creating this scenario where maybe Argentina is winning the World Cup again. But I wanted just to ask you, what about this listeners of the future that has listened or maybe watched this on YouTube or an Apple podcast or on Spotify, and they really liked your answers, and now they maybe want just to talk with you. What's the best way just to reach out to you, Seth?
There's a couple ways. You can email me and I can at Seth, SETH at Kamens, KAMENSCPA.com. You can link me in on LinkedIn. Our website is KamensCPA.com. I can give you the information or I can post it if you'd like. Usually that's the
Yeah.
easiest way to get hold of me. And we progress from there.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. Next week when we upload this episode, I'll make sure just to copy yeah, your LinkedIn and your website and everything so that people can reach out to you. Seth, I'm super happy that we made this episode together. Next week when we upload this episode, the USA will have already played with the next match. What are your predictions for the next
We
match?
play Australia, who beat Turkey. I would like to think we can win it. We can win at home against Australia. But
Yeah,
they
yeah,
played really well
perfect.
They played really well. So I'm
But
going to say we'll win 2-1, and we'll have already clinched our place in the knockout round.
perfect. 2-1. That's your prediction.
That is
I
me.
say 3-1. Let's talk next
I'll
week
take
and see who
I'll take
who
it.
won. All right, Seth. It was super nice having you. Thank you
Alex,
so
the
much
pleasure was
for
all mine. Thanks so
being
much.
part. Thank you. Have a good one.
Have a good one.